Okay, in this video I'm going to go over how to install UltraSeps version 2 on a Macintosh system. Now after downloading UltraSeps from our website and unzipping the folder, you'll have a folder named UltraSeps V2. Okay, inside the folder is everything you'll need. On a Mac you're going to want to run the UltraSeps V2 installer. Okay, there's only one installer. It doesn't matter what type of Mac you have. But there's one thing that you'll need to know is that UltraSeps requires a Intel processor-based Macintosh. It doesn't work with the older PowerPC Macs, so you need an Intel processor in order to use UltraSeps. So just run this installer, and if when running the installer, an alert pops up like this saying that the installer can't be opened because it's from an unidentified developer. This simply means that Apple is not aware of UltraSeps V2. Okay, it's not within their app store, and it's something that hasn't been registered with Apple. So in order to get, if you do get this this little pop-up screen, all you'll need to do is either control-click or right-click that UltraSeps installer, and then it'll be able to run. I think this is kind of a ridiculous security feature that Apple has in its newer versions of OS X. So, as I said, there's a way around it. Just either control, click, or right-click the installer, and the installer will run correctly. Now, after the installer completes, it's a good idea to check if everything has installed. So, open up a Finder window, and you want to select your primary internal hard drive. On Macs, this is normally called Macintosh HD, although you may have changed the name. So open up your Macintosh hard drive, and there should be a folder by the name of UltraSeps right there. Okay, this needs to be there. Never change the name of this folder, never move it, never delete anything from it or add anything to it. It contains files that are vital for the program to run. And next thing what I need to check is if the plugin has installed within your copy of Photoshop. Now you're going to want to open up your applications folder and open up the version of Photoshop installed on your system. Now I have a lot of versions installed here, so let's say you're using Adobe Photoshop CS6. You would open the Photoshop CS6 folder, then you would open up the plugins folder, then open up the Automate folder, and there needs to be an UltraSeps plugin inside that Automate folder, and it has to be the correct version for your version of Photoshop. Now if for any reason that plugin is not there, you'll need to manually place it. The first thing I'd like to tell you is that all versions of Adobe Photoshop beginning with CS6 do not have an Automate folder inside the plugins folder. Our installer will create one for you and place the plugin inside. But if for any reason when you open your plugins folder, if you don't see a folder named Automate, okay, you're going to need to make one. So just make a new folder in here and call it Automate. Then go to the UltraSeps V2 folder, which is downloaded from our site. Open up the backup files, open up the plugins folder, and copy the correct UltraSeps plugin to the Automate folder inside the plugins folder of Adobe Photoshop. Okay, now once you're sure that your plugin is there, we're going to have to launch Photoshop. Okay, now once Photoshop opens, the first thing you're going to want to do is to load the UltraSeps V2 actions into your actions palette. Now there's a little icon in the upper right hand corner of your actions palette. You would click that, and then you would scroll down and select Load Actions. Then you would navigate to the UltraSeps V2 folder. Now this is the folder containing the files downloaded from our website. And you would select the file in here that says UltraSeps V2 Macintosh ATN, and click the button that says Open. Now the actions have been loaded into the actions palette, but it's not in button mode. So what you'll need to do here is click this little icon again and turn on button mode. and that'll turn our action set into a set of easy to click buttons. Now, if for some reason you have a lot of other things in your actions palette and you want to make sure UltraSeps is at the top to avoid confusion, turn button mode back off, and all the actions are actually within a folder. And if you have other action sets in your actions palette, you'll have multiple folders, or maybe they look expanded like this. So just locate the folder that says UltraSeps V 2.1 Macintosh, and just click it and drag it to the top of your actions palette. And this will make sure that UltraSeps is at the top. So now we're going to click button mode. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to load our color settings. And that is just a simple one click. And you want to click the button here that says Load UltraSeps Color Settings. Okay, just follow the prompts, click Continue, and that's it. Now the color settings are loaded. So if we go to Edit and we scroll down to Color Settings, I don't know if you can see it on your screen here. You can see the UltraSeps Custom Color Settings have been loaded. Underneath, you'll see terms QuikSeps RGB, QuikSeps CMYK. This is normal. This is how your color settings window should look. Now, to make sure that the plugin has in fact loaded into Adobe Photoshop, go to your File menu, scroll down to Automate, and there should be a QS with 3 periods next to it. This indicates the plugin is loaded. If no file is open, the QS with the 3 periods next to it will be grayed out. This is normal. I'd also like to point out that Photoshop needs to be closed when running the installer. If Photoshop was open when running the installer, at this point, close it and open it again so this plugin does load. Now let's open a file. And let's open our UltraSeps monster file here. And just to make sure everything's running correctly, let's go down and let's run UltraSeps sim process number 3. And this is a fabulous action that produces stunning simulated process color separations. And all we need to do is click this a few times. The info window will come up, tell you what to do. And click continue a few times, and the separation will start running. And you got to give it maybe, I don't know, 10-15 seconds to complete. Once all the on-screen activity stops, the color separation has been completed. And here we got shirt background, we got our white under base, we have our yellow, we have a blue, light blue, we have a green, a red, a gray. You could probably get away without that. Highlight white and a black. And just take a look how good this separation looks. This is without any adjustments whatsoever. And that's it. That's how to install UltraSeps on your Macintosh. And about the only difference you'll see when using UltraSeps for the first time is when you do run a color separation, or try, buy, unlock window will pop up. You know, you'll want to click the try button to continue with your 15-day trial. And at any time during the 15-day trial, you know, you can purchase the program. Just go to our website and put your order in, and you'll receive an email from us containing all your new user information, how the program is unlocked, and so on and so forth. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video and have found it helpful if you do run into any difficulty getting UltraSeps to run correctly on your Mac.